Kicking off August with a Patreon-sponsored episode, supporter Consuelo Higdon wanted their favourite character to get the basics treatment. So today, we're looking at Beachcomber. The original Beachcomber toy was released in the second year of the Transformers franchise, 1985. He and his fellow Autobot mini-vehicles from this year were some of the first brand new Transformers toys that hadn't previously been available as part of a Japanese toy line. It's generally thought that they were designed for Takara's Microchange line, but wound up going unproduced until Transformers. Beachcomber transforms into a Chinook fast attack vehicle, which is actually a kind of armed military vehicle used for desert combat. But all Transformers paperwork referred to it only as an ordinary dune buggy, and it was clearly with this more peaceful, recreational vehicle in mind that Marvel writer Bob Budiansky approached Beachcomber when he invented his name and personality. Budiansky characterized Beachcomber as a laid-back, anti-war geologist who liked to unwind by taking in the natural beauty of Earth's deserts and coastlines. Now, this characterization didn't have much room to shine in the stories Budiansky wrote for the Marvel comic book, in which Beachcomber was a member of an underground Autobot resistance cell on Cybertron who came to Earth over the Decepticons' space bridge. But it was a different story in the Generation 1 animated series. Beachcomber joined the cast of the cartoon partway through its second season, albeit with no explanation offered for where he and most of the other new 1985 characters had come from. The series took Beachcomber to the peak of his fame. Even today, he's never had a role as significant and as memorable as the one he enjoyed in his showcase episode, The Golden Lagoon. In this adventure, Beachcomber discovered a beautiful hidden glen containing a lagoon of the invincible liquid metal Electrum. Beachcomber did his best to keep the lagoon a secret in order to protect the wildlife of the glen. But ultimately the Autobots and Decepticons discovered its location and coated themselves in the metal to battle one another. The glen was ravaged by their combat, and the final scene of the episode, as Beachcomber sat among the devastation while the other Autobots celebrated, unconscious of the price of their victory, ensured that the Golden Lagoon would be remembered as one of the most poignant and well-regarded episodes of the series. In particular, the episode's anti-war and environmental themes, drawn from Beachcomber's character profile, coupled with his cool, groovy voice.
Like if you need geology-type info, hey, just call on yours truly, Beachcomber. I dig projects that don't require conflict, you know.
Based on that of classic crooner Bing Crosby and provided by actor Alan Oppenheimer, ensured Beachcomber a pervasive reputation with fans as a hippie, which is a bit of an exaggeration. After Beachcomber's toy was discontinued in 1987, he stopped appearing in the cartoon, and in the comic he was taken offline following a mauling from Mindwipe. He didn't receive any further toys in the Generation 1 toy line, but his original figure was re-released in a new green chrome color scheme as part of the Transformers Generation 2 line in 1993. The first new incarnation of Beachcomber wasn't introduced until 2005 in Transformers Energon. A recolor of the Energon Autobot Cliffjumper, this Beachcomber was a jokester who patrolled the coasts off of the Autobots' Ocean City, and still transformed into a beach buggy like the original. He had virtually no presence in media, however. He made only a small cameo in the Energon comic book, and he didn't appear at all in the Energon cartoon, which instead used his color scheme to represent a powered-up form for Cliffjumper himself, rather than a separate character. A Transformers animated incarnation of Beachcomber was supposed to appear in the premiere episode of the animated cartoon's third season in 2009. The scene was going to involve Beachcomber stumbling onto the Decepticon spy, Shockwave, and being killed by him. But it was cut for time, and Beachcomber survived to make a crowd scene cameo later in the season. Beachcomber's animated incarnation was to have lent heavily into the perception of the character as a hippie, depicting him as an absolutely bombed-out stoner. Yeah, apparently the animated production staff weren't very fond of Beachcomber. Other minor incarnations of Beachcomber have included a version from the live-action movie universe, who transforms into a Chinook desert patrol vehicle, the real-life modern-day successor of the fast attack vehicle his Generation 1 predecessor turned into. And an evil version from the mirror universe of Shattered Glass, who speaks entirely in song lyrics. Even IDW Publishing's comic books, which have often found new ground to tread with underused classic characters, have done little with Beachcomber, with his most notable role in the comic's early years being an appearance as a mind-controlled pawn of the Insecticon Bombshell, forced to attempt the assassination of his fellow Autobot Blaster. However, following the 2017 release of a brand new Beachcomber toy in the Power of the Primes toy line, the little geologist has begun appearing in the comics pages again, now in a minor recurring role as a prison guard. But proving that for Beachcomber it always comes back to the Golden Lagoon, an all-gold recolor of that new Power of the Primes toy is set for an exclusive release through Takara's website in late 2018, paying homage to the character's Electrum-coated appearance from his signature episode. Maybe sometime in the future a new Transformers story will come along that will give Beachcomber a new starring role, but for now, he's always going to be known as the star of one of the Generation 1 cartoon's best remembered episodes. Not exactly a bad legacy, is it? Short and sweet, those are the basics on Beachcomber. Thanks to Consuelo for sponsoring this episode. And what's your opinion of Beachcomber? Share it in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Now, you guys know I never go more than 2 weeks between episodes, but TF Nation's coming up later this month and I need to get ready, so there might be a slightly longer wait this time. But I'll be back soon with our second Patreon-sponsored episode for this month, when we'll take a look at the basics on Perceptor.